This is a densitometer, and we use this PVC pipe looking thing to measure the canopy cover of our plot. So there is a hole that you look through, and there are two levels inside, one to measure side to side this way and one to measure up the other side to side. And you look through the center like so, and you try your best to level out both bubbles. What I like to do is I focus on one bubble first, one of the levels, for example, the bottom one, and I level out the bottom one, and then I try to hold it steady that direction and then move it the other way to measure or level out the other bubble. And then you are looking at the crosshairs in the middle that are like two lines like this, and you're measuring the canopy cover that intersects with those crosshairs just exactly at the middle. So at every plot, you're measuring the canopy cover above your transect. You pretend that there is an imaginary thin point line that goes from the foot mark all the way up through the sky. Just an imaginary line, and you're doing your best to hold your densitometer so that it is in line with your imaginary line, so that your crosshairs are directly above that foot mark. And you start at 0, and then you're going to have 50 feet of points, and then you'll go to 1, and then you'll go all the way through 49 so that you have 50 total data points. Okay, so I'm starting at point 0, and I'm holding my densitometer at eye level, and I'm holding it directly above the point, and I'm leveling out my bottom bubble and my top bubble so that they're in between the lines and leveled out. And I see a branch of canopy directly between the crosshairs, and I look up and I notice that this is a ponderosa pine. So I have a clicker for each species. So this clicker can be my ponderosa pine clicker, and I will click 1 by pushing this little lever. And then I will move on to my next foot. And for example, maybe there is an aspen that is covering the transect in the air at some point. And I look at my 1 foot mark, and I level out the bubbles, and I look up and I see that there is a hypothetical aspen tree above me, but there is also ponderosa pine above me, but the aspen is what I see in my crosshairs and it's closest to me. So I would have a different clicker for a different species of aspen, and I would click aspen for this point, because you can only have 1 click per point on your transect. So if the aspen is closest to me, I'm going to click aspen on the clicker. If there are more than 2 species, you can use a pencil and paper, or if you have another clicker available for the additional species. If you have a dead tree, then that can also count as a species. It's just categorized as dead. But if I look up and the branch of the ponderosa pine is dead, but it's connected to this beautiful ponderosa pine, then you still count that as ponderosa, even though that branch is dead. And say I go to my next point. So I have 2 clicks so far. I'm at my next point, and I look up, but there's another tree that's like kind of in my space right here. We are technically measuring canopy as any tree, not shrub, tree that is above DBH. So if there are some branches that are in here at my eye level or like a little below eye level, we're gonna hold the densitometer like around DBH at like 4.5 feet. And then you're gonna look and you're gonna measure it the same way. It would just be a little bit lower so that you're capturing that canopy that's at above DBH, that's below your eye level. And then say that was an aspen, you'd click 1 for aspen on your other clicker. And then you go to your next foot and you look through your densitometer, you level it out, and say, there is no canopy here. I don't have anything in the crosshairs. Or you might see some tree or canopy that's like within your field of vision through the densitometer. But if it's not directly between on the crosshairs, it does not count. So therefore I would just have no clicks at this foot. And then you would move to your next foot.